Listen to The Cat's Den with Johnny Cat at utahmusicradio.com. Okay, here we go. Johnny C. and Mateo. Utah Music Radio.
You're listening to Radio.
And that's not the button I wanted.
I kind of like that.
I know.
It's a super button.
It is. Anyway, all right, everybody. Welcome. I'm Johnny C.
Mateo, hey, what's going on, you guys?
And we have
Stephen Wells.
absolutely from Ghost Town. And I've been building this show up just a little bit because you're one of my all-time favorite guests. And
I went limp.
You went limp.
I went limp. Sorry.
there goes that hernia again.
Yeah.
No, it's but you're one of you're one of our all-time favorites on air.
I just got to hold it closer to my mouth so it doesn't go limp.
That's what she said. But yeah, so as you can tell, this is going to be a really fun night.
Yeah. I can't. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about you right now. You're in Ghost Town. You put out an album called Menace to Sobriety over COVID. We were just talking about that about 5 seconds ago.
Yeah, we wrote it during COVID. It came out 2022, maybe.
Really?
I'm not
Okay.
sure. Yeah, but it was.
I remember it.
Yeah, it was. But it was written over COVID because what else are you going to do? We were all kind of homebound and stuck in our homes, and so it's fun. It's a lot of tongue in cheek. It's all about, as the title says, about drinking and drugging. That's what everybody was doing.
As everybody did, yeah.
So we had some fun with it. It's a great album. It's a lot of fun. Like I said, a lot of tongue in cheek and some really, really, really great songs on there.
One of the things I tell people when I was telling them that you were coming on to the show is I love your wordplay. Like one of the things that really stands out with your writing and your music is
There we go.
there it is. People, if you
Wish we
only
had
saw
video
what's going
right now. This is actually turning.
All right, hold on.
Anybody got any duct tape? There we go. Now I'll just scooch in.
There we go.
There we
You
go.
can pull it out.
I think Johnny just did you a favor.
He did.
Do we call that a favor or do we call that a trick?
I don't know.
Well, it was a little tricky favor.
A little bit of both.
A little bit of everything. Yeah.
You should have seen this reach around. It's amazing.
I got these long monkey arms.
Oh,
What can I say?
Wow.
Alicia, when she was
She's the
talking about like her job and everything, and part of it is saying, okay, let's reach back around to do this. And I was like, they need to do a reach around. Huh?
phrasing.
And so she's
phrasing.
So, let's do a reach around on that topic later on. It's like, it sounds like that's corporate America, isn't it? It's just a reach around to get the job done.
We'll give him this, but then we're just gonna give him a reach around.
Let's reach around for that one later. Okay.
Phrasing.
HR. And then there's a meeting with the principal.
Right? That is write-up number 1. And if I see you in my office again,
Then you're going to get a number 2.
phrasing. Sorry.
So anyway, as you can tell, this is
good wordplay.
Right.
this is how the show's going to be, people. That's what I love.
Yeah.
So
This is
Lowbrow humor, my favorite.
yeah. So how long has Ghost Town been around?
25 years.
Wow.
I do the math. 1999 was when
26.
26 years. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And it's been a long, strange
Trip.
Yeah. To say the least.
For sure, man. I mean,
And we're still going. We're working on new music. Currently have been for like a number of years now. It's been a slow process, but we've got a lot of songs written. And Johnny, who you had on last week, he's playing bass on a lot of it.
yeah. How is it working with Johnny in the studio and on stage? Like, what's your take on, because he had nothing but shit to say about you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know.
It's like, I can't stand. No,
I actually felt really bad.
I know. Like, damn, does he even really care?
I feel bad that he has to bow down to my level, musically.
No, he had nothing but great things to say about you.
No, he's a consummate professional. He's always there and always ready to go and has the songs down. I mean, when we initially brought him in just to do some filling gigs, we are 90% original. and he learned 32 original songs in about 3 days.
Jeez.
Wow.
And he came in and he actually knew them better than we did. I mean, because we were like, oh, wait. He goes, wait, I don't think it goes that way. And then we're like, wait. Oh, yeah, you're right. It doesn't go that way.
You're like, hey, do you have like 4 more of you guys?
Right.
We can just sit in the audience.
He's like, wait, you wrote the song. Yeah, but that doesn't mean I can remember it.
I know.
That's awesome.
It's like remembering your kids' names.
But come on. Me and Johnny go we go way back. I mean, as friends, we've been around the scene since I moved here from Minnesota in the early 90s. He was one of the first people I met out here.
Yeah.
So
really?
we've been friends for 30 years.
I'm betting you met him at Wagstaff's Music.
I don't know. I think I met him at Rafters.
Oh, okay. That would be
through mutual band that I was kind of hanging out with.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't playing with anybody in town at the time. And there's a whole core of people I met through that original band that I'm still friends with, lifelong friends now.
Nice.
People like James Woods.
Oh, yeah.
Walter Woods, who also sings on backing vocal on a lot of our stuff.
That's right. I remember when you even put a call out.
Yeah.
I remember when you put a call out and he was one of those people.
Yeah, he sang on the last album, Menace. So, we always...
He's got such a unique voice, too. It's just...
It's powerful.
Powerful. Yeah.
And we've been doing some really interesting acoustic shows where it's just him and me back and forth. We did one last fall up in Park City on the rooftop of the Boneyard.
Oh,
and so I would play I'd play like 6 songs and then James would come up play 6 and then it would never break. It was just a continuous music.
So fun.
And our styles are so different.
He's fast. Yeah.
He's technical and just, range and I'm just up there banging on the guitar and singing country songs basically. And he's doing all this intricate stuff, but people love the dynamic between it, and we're such good friends. We give each other shit.
So I love that when you can actually have that type of dynamic.
Oh yeah.
On stage and just like throw it back and forth, even
completely different styles too.
Yeah. Well, and that's just it, is that, see, you guys are working to build the scene because it is 2 different complete styles. I mean, he's like rock and you're country, and he's a little bit of rock and you're a little...
I know, we might have to learn that one.
I know.
I don't know.
Do ahead of that.
I'm a little bit of rock.
Yes, obviously you're country, but there is rock.
There's a rock element
in your...
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of rock element. It's more country rock.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. I mean, we can be very country, but we can also be very rock.
What was the one about Elvis? What was the song that you wrote about? The album, wasn't it?
A Long Way from Graceland.
Long Way from Graceland. Yeah, that was
my song about. That was an actual. I've told the story before. A dream. I woke up.
Yep.
Wrote the premise down. I had a dream that it was like the Wizard of Oz, where you get taken up in the tornado and you land in the house. And when I opened the door, Elvis was there, and so I just hung out with him, did drugs with him all day.
Fuck yeah, that
and
sounds
so
like
it's called Long Way from Graceland, and it's all about just cruising around in a pink Cadillac with Elvis, drinking, doing drugs. And that was a dream I had, and so I was like, oh man, this is too good. I gotta jot this down because it's really
love that.
Really fun. It was fun.
By the way, so I don't know if I told you before, but my wife baked you brownies.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Wink,
wink.
But not those
just
kinds.
Kidding, but
I already
seriously,
like damn.
Yeah,
I'll tell her thank you.
No, but that's way cool. I absolutely love. So dreams play a big part in my lyric writing.
Yeah.
So much. I translate visuals to lyric, obviously. And I translate feelings to music, and it's
that's kind of how I do it. And I don't remember a lot of my dreams. So when I do, I tend to go, I got to write down because I rarely remember them. But that one was so vivid. When I woke up, I was like, well, that's just fucking crazy. But it's cool. It's a great concept. So
awesome.
it became
At least you weren't the witch where your socks curled up and there was the end of the dream. You're like, shit.
Right.
Man,
and we still play that song live.
Yeah.
It's a great song. Actually, that was... I'm trying to think if Johnny played on that back then. It might have been... It was either Johnny or Rayo Pikins, another great local bass player we use.
Yeah.
One of those two played bass on that song.
Nice.
I know Johnny played on Menace to Sobriety, the title track for the last record. Nice. And when he learned that, he came into rehearsal. It was really funny. He goes, God, that's a great song. I love that bass line. Who did it? And I was like, you did it. He goes, oh, I thought that sounded familiar.
That's awesome.
I recognize that piccolo.
He's like, what?
There's some musicality in that.
He goes, man, that's good. Who did that? You? Oh, I did? Okay.
That's a full circle. Like you're patting yourself on the back by being a good
When you're
musician,
going back saying, damn, that's really good. Who did it? And you're like, got Alzheimer's? That was you, bro.
Yeah. I've been lucky.
All right then. All right.
I've been lucky enough to have a lot of good musician friends that are willing to come in and guest star, I guess, on songs, you know. So, and the band's never really cared. They're like, you know, because I write all the time and I have so many songs, you know, the other guys will be like, I'm not feeling that one. Throw that at somebody else, you know. And that's when I'll call somebody like Johnny or Ray or David Briggs, you know.
We should work. Oh, yeah.
He played on he played on a couple of songs. And then, of course, I had James Woods, Walter Woods singing, and Neil Middleton from Royal Bliss.
I'm sitting here thinking, all right, you're playing a lot of country with some rockers.
Well, the funny thing is,
it's not a bad thing. I'm just like, okay, you got Neil from Royal Bliss, you got James Woods, you got Johnny.
They're doing wonderful harmonies. There's a song called Let It Ride that has both Neil and James on it, singing harmony.
Okay.
And on Long Way from Graceland, that's Neil and James again singing backing vocal on that one. So I've been lucky enough to just call friends. Memphis is on it, Hennessy from Royal Bliss and Taylor.
Awesome.
So just different guest people like, hey, you know, come and play. I need an upright guy. Come and play. Who plays upright? You know, and bring somebody in. But
that's so cool.
And I think they appease me. I think they're like, all right, we'll go play on your silly little stupid song, you know.
We'll play with this charity case.
Just stop calling me.
Sometimes
I just shut you up.
Bro.
Sometimes, you know, those guys, and they're so damn good that like, you know, the projects they're working on are like exponential. It's huge, and they do such good work.
Yeah. I mean, and I like having different voices on it instead of me just doing all the vocal, the harmony. I like having the texture of different voices on it.
That's awesome.
So whether it's like guys in the band singing harmony or I bring in a guest vocalist to do a harmony, I just think it adds color and texture, the different voices, you know. Actually, Jedi sang on one of the records. He did the super low.
Yep.
I can't remember the song he was on, but it was like really low.
So honestly, if Jedi and Mateo were in the same room and they were talking and someone had their subwoofer playing, just blow it apart.
We'll lock a fifth harmonic or whatever. And start to move bricks, and it'll be like, hey, we could build the pyramids if you want.
The brown note.
Yeah, right. Like
it rattled the shit out of me. Damn.
Yeah. Okay, so you've been touring for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
So let me just ask you this question. I've toured, but I've toured musically many times, but I don't like to really think about it. Touring for me is usually being the audio engineer. Doing like front of house. So when you first started touring 20 something years ago, what was your first tour like?
Well,
what did it feel like to you?
We don't tour anymore.
Did you freak out? You're like, oh my God, we're leaving this.
Yeah, we used to tour, but we don't anymore. There was a point where it got just too expensive and everybody got older.
Yeah.
Got families, kids, just too difficult. So
Understood.
we do. So we did, occasionally we'll do regional Wyoming or something like that.
Yeah.
But some of the younger tours were when we first began and nobody was really connected. I think the only...
It was the 90s, so good times.
That was a good time to tour, yeah.
Yeah, well, me and Eric Fields, the drummer I have, he was with me since the beginning, and then he left for a few years. But when we were touring, he was the main guy, and nobody else that's currently in the band was in the band back then, except Eric. So we've got some stories. We
only keep to yourselves.
Yeah. There's some. I have pictures on some of them. Like I don't know how, because it was in the 90s. So they're like photos, and I'm like, how did we get these developed? How did they not like go? And I think our guitar player at the time, I think we got him divorced after one tour because
that's how it usually happens.
He was touring with us. He was Mike Bayless. He was on the Dust and Bones record, and then he toured with us on that record. I think that was probably the last time we really did a tour, regional state tour. But yeah, we took pictures of him. He was, because he wanted to keep up with me drinking, and he didn't really drink, and so he got so drunk.
Oh no!
And we were playing in the first night was in Las Vegas, and I can't even remember the name of the bar. And we just got hammered, and he ended up literally passing out. He threw up all over his pedal board while he was playing. So we propped him up on a stool at the bar. We took photos of him. He was all hunched over. We grabbed all his gear, chucked it in the U-Haul.
Oh, okay.
And we had the next gig was in San Bernardino. So we drove to San Bernardino and of course opened up the U-Haul, and it wasn't cleaned off. I mean,
Was he still as?
oh, he was hurting like
Oh
that.
my
So
God!
we
Did it work?
well, all you could smell was vomit when we opened those doors because it wasn't cleaned off.
Pedal board.
We just
pedal board. Did it work?
it worked. Yeah.
Just like
It was brutal.
Yeah, I mean, we all see drummers like gashing a knuckle and then bleeding all set.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like you're not
Your
not
drums look like a spray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're not a true rock star or whatever, and until you bleed all over, you play through bleeding through a set. But no, you're not a true rock star
Until you throw up.
until you throw up on your pedal board, and it still works the next day.
Right.
There
Yeah,
you
it was hysterical. But yeah, so we took all these pictures and then thought it was funny, and his wife didn't find it too humorous, because there was pictures of him back at the hotel
What are
that
you
night.
doing?
Because I stayed up all night and kept partying, and
Yeah.
he was passed out on the little couch. We were like in a Motel 6 or something,
Right, yeah.
And we had a pyramid of beer cans on him. We had all these, in Vegas, you get all those nudie mags in the
yeah.
just off the street.
Even
Basically,
the
you were
flyers
having
and stuff.
fun,
Yeah, we had
and
them.
she got mad.
We laid all these nudie mags all over him, and we've had ketchup and mustard packets between his toes.
Oh, perfect.
And we'd taken photos and then send to her. She didn't find it funny, but
She didn't find it funny. She didn't find it funny at all.
no.
Of course.
But we,
And
yeah.
why?
Then
why was she?
you did him a service.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but if she's going to be that mad about people having fun,
Oh, that's over.
Yeah. I think it was pretty much over anyway.
Excellent.
That was
You
just
just kind of helped.
I just helped it along, and he was better off for it.
There we go. That's
Yeah.
see.
I mean,
that's
no
being a
offense
good
to,
band
I'm not
member.
trying to, say, but I mean, if you knew you were marrying a musician,
Yeah.
a touring musician to boot, then you got to understand. And it's like, I used to tell my ex all the time, come to a show, come to a show, come to a show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, I know. But then I come home and she'd lay into me, who'd you fuck? And I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what are
no,
you talking about?
I got that all the time.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I'm like, if you would have gone, you would know.
Right.
It was everybody, for fuck's sake.
Right.
No, it was
Yeah. Right.
the dude in the corner throwing up.
Right.
I bent him over. He was already bent over. I took advantage of the
Right, no
situation. Jeez. I mean, come on, man. Who did it? What a stupid question. So yeah, if
Yeah, you get that a lot as a lifelong musician. It's just like you said. If they don't go, they assume, what are you doing? And half the time, you know how it is. It's just boring as shit. It's like there's never anything really. Once in a while, you get crazy shit happening, but it's not like all the time.
You tour.
Most tours, it's just boring. You're in a hotel.
You park, you sleep, you load up, you carry your shit in, you play, you're exhausted, you load up, you're exhausted, you go back to the room,
Yeah.
you fall asleep, or you may still be amped up, and then you're just watching TV till 4 a.m, you fall asleep,
Yeah.
you wake up at 8,
You
get
know,
back in the van,
you
go to the
guys-
next place.
No. This is so much different when you're on tour and then you stop at a really cool venue and then you meet
that's
a
a different-
sound guy called Mateo.
Well, yeah,
and
that's
then,
a whole other.
And then all of a sudden, your entire tour is like the coolest thing ever.
Oh, wait,
true.
are you saying that we go to a bar, find a guy named Mateo,
And then
we just grab Mateo and take him with us, and then it's a party?
Sure, you can do
shit.
that.
All right,
No, that happens.
good. All right, I'm with you on that.
Have you not heard this?
Why didn't I do that?
Most places,
No,
do-
shit,
most
I
bars, most bars and most bands understand this concept.
Yeah.
So, like it's
We never met a Mateo.
oh
I
damn.
never met a Mateo.
Shit.
I mean, I did.
Well, yeah.
you're
Yeah,
right
I
here,
did. Yeah, yeah.
right now.
You
But
just- yeah.
who are you? No,
I'm Mateo. I don't know.
that was a good gigolo move.
It was.
Hey.
Did you see that? That was
You lived in Mexico a little too long.
did. No, I
Was that about a week? No, I'm just kidding. No, you were there for a good minute, weren't you? How long were you there?
twice for a year each time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So-
No, yeah. And full-time engineer, Pro Santana Studios, which is, sorry, I'll say it again. I think we talked about that.
We did earlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
I think it's Studio Musical de Creativa. I don't remember, something like that.
No, that's cool.
But yeah, good friend of mine still. And in fact, he'll probably comment on this.
Oh, yeah, I hope he does.
Come on.
Good guy.
Oh,
Oh, and one of the cool things is, I think, and this is one of the first times the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the nominees have been posted. I don't know if they had voted on them or they've been inducted yet. And this is, I think, one of the first times that this has ever happened. A good friend of mine, I used to go and get drunk and smoke out with these guys and have fun. The band members of Menace. Menace has just been inducted. Well,
really?
They've been nominated in the American Rock Hall of Fame.
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
It's the first Latin American band to ever be nominated as an inductee. The crazy
Wow,
thing
that's awesome.
I don't know if I'm sure that a pretty big majority of the audience understand who Menace is, but if you don't, they are basically Latin Americans like U2.
Oh,
Basically kind of that status. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
They're like U2 in the Spanish Latin American world. But yeah, we used to hang out. They have a restaurant called Café de Artiste in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, in Jalisco. Yeah, I mean, when they're not on tour, when they're not in the studio and everything, I tried to get them to come to my studio when I lived there in Mexico, but we hung out and just got drunk and good guys. And their music is amazing.
As one does.
That happens.
Well, you have to.
Yeah.
Well, you can't drink the water. So
when you're in Rome,
you got to drink the beer.
Got to drink the beer, and they make pretty good beer in Mexico.
Today is sponsored by
Pacifico.
Pacifico Calera.
Now pay us.
Yeah, exactly. Now give us money. Pacifico.
Right.
I think they're owned by
Coors.
First, it's Modelo. I think.
Oh yeah,
Modelo owns Pacifico.
It's a Constellation. It's one of parent company.
It's one of my favorites.
I work for them. So that's
say that.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's one of the best for micheladas.
Yeah.
Pacifico, it's got that body to it. So when you put the clamato juice in, it gives it that yum stuff.
I got to bring this up because you're wearing the hat.
Uh-oh. Just going to pour salt in the wounds? Is that what you're going to do?
Oh, shit. What's going on here? I can see tidal waves coming.
How do you feel about this year? I thought it was bullshit.
They're talking sports.
What was your take? Okay, we're talking about the Minnesota Vikings, and I'm a Minnesota fan. I'm also a KC fan, but my number one is the Broncos, and my number two is Minnesota. So I thought this year, the way that they were rolling, what was it, 12-2 or
13-2 when they hit the playoffs?
Yeah.
They had the same record as the Lions.
Yeah.
But they had to go on the road as a wild card.
Yeah.
And then they got blown out by the Rams.
Which is such...
I know. It was.
But I
think I turned it off at halftime. I was so upset.
Oh man. So I'm on set during the Super Bowl weekend, right? And I'm telling everybody, I've gone dark. Don't tell me. I haven't been on the net. I don't want to see any of the scores. And everybody kept it quiet for me on set. Get home the next day. I flip on the TV. I start watching the game. And it was boosh, boosh, boosh. They just kept scoring on them, and I'm just sitting there. And at that point, that isn't a Super Bowl. That is just like watching junior high versus college. It's like it was not Super Bowl material in my book, and it was sad because I do like Philly. If it would have been any other team, I would have gone for Philly. But just the fact that it was such a blowout, it wasn't even a game.
No,
it's sad.
It would have been better if maybe I think if the Bills would have gotten there. That would have been a hell of a game.
You want to know the game that I'd love to see?
What's that?
I'd love to see the Lions versus the Vikings.
Well, that can't happen.
Can't happen because they're in the same. But I'm just saying, those two teams together would just be a battle royale in my book.
Well, for the next foreseeable future, those two teams are going to be hopefully there every year fighting for it.
I hope so. Yeah. I hope so. I really want to see the Lions take it. I really want to see Minnesota back in there again.
So what do you think is going to happen now after this Super Bowl?
There's going to be people shit can. They're going to get new people. There's going to be new, reorg on every team out there, and it's just going to be another season.
It's really interesting. I didn't really take the time to think about things as deeply as I possibly should have than when I edited the very first podcast for Utah Music Radio.
Oh, with JD and Ryan,
which is actually really inspiring podcast to hear their stories, but to hear their experience as being professional NFL players and what they had to do to hold on to that,
to hold on to their seat,
to their seat, to hold on, to push themselves as a professional athlete, and while building a family and keeping all of their cardio, their fitness. They have
the regimen every single day
because every single person from every single other team is trying trying to
take your job,
squeeze you out, take your job.
Yeah.
Take your job and beat the shit out of you.
It's crazy.
When I was a kid, I used to think, okay, so you're really good at sports and then you're going to get this contract. You're going to be really good at sports and blah, blah, blah. But no, it's way more than that.
Yeah.
It is methodical. It's mathematical.
It's cutthroat.
It's cutthroat.
I used to,
So
when I was younger and I'd watch football, like most people are just like, oh, it's just a bunch of guys banging into one another to get a pig, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I moved to England and I watched soccer. I watched football over there.
Yeah.
Their football, And I was watching a Man U versus Greece game. There's I can't remember how many seats Old Trafford holds. It's a shitload of people. Anyway, it was just like sitting in the Colosseum and seeing these gladiators fighting, and the way they played reminded me of the Aztecs, how they would play them. It was like basketball with your feet. You got to put the ball through the hoop and all that with your feet. And so all of that, but just, it was primal, right? Okay, fast forward.
I just pulled up pictures of Old Trafford Stadium.
Yeah, find out how many seats.
Freaking amazing.
It's huge. So I come back and I'm laying in bed. Yeah. I can show you exactly where it's at. It's huge. Yeah. In fact, where that picture is in the corner, that corner image is where I actually was sitting.
74,000.
74,000. Yeah. So it's big, but it's big. It's 20. It's about 20,000 more than what Rice Eccles holds.
Yeah.
But it was just primal. And so I get back to Utah and everything. And one day I'm just laying in bed. It's a Sunday. Decide to light up. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching football for the first time in slow motion, just watching each play. And all of a sudden I realize that it's like military and the way that they structure themselves. And it's like literally a battle and how they move. It's
like the
chess.
guys.
It's like giant. It's like a giant brutal chessboard. They create these plays.
Like 300.
The other team. Yeah, kind of like, so they're like gladiators. So all of a sudden I started looking at these guys as like gigantic gladiators just pummeling each other. And all of a sudden I was like, this is really interesting. And since then, I just get glued to it because it's like I watch the intricacies that not a lot of people really pay attention to, but it's the intricacies. I watch the quarterback and he'll just
when I do
scratch the back of his head, he'll stomp his foot, and all of a sudden one guy starts running, and then he snaps his fingers, another guy taps his shoulder, boom, and all of a sudden they're going off and doing their play. And it's
okay. So when you're talking about Old Trafford, were you talking about football or are you talking about football?
No, soccer, football.
Okay, all right, that's
It was just primal, and that's Europe and the rest of the world. That's the gladiators right there. Those football players are just soccer players. But they are above, especially like Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Oh my God, man. They put these people up on pedestals, Manchester United. These people, they can't do any wrong. They come in gold carriages and shit. They're just nuts.
So you lived in England. So when it comes to football,
just football
versus rugby.
Oh, there's no,
there's nothing. Football is so much bigger.
Yeah. When I lived there, the World Cup for rugby was actually playing and England closed down completely.
Wow.
The entire country closed down and it was England versus Australia.
Ooh.
And
damn.
And it's Australia and it's Australian rules rugby.
Yeah.
And you see these guys that look like our football players, but they're literally, and I shit you not, taping their skulls together because
tightening their skull.
No, because some guys actually had cracked. They were talking about one guy who had it was like little fiberglass brace on his head, right?
Okay,
and then it was wrapped around his head with an ace bandage tight because they said his head was cracked in 4 places, and they said if he took another hit, his brains have the potential of falling out of his head.
That's how I've lived my life.
And the bro was out there playing.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like,
it's life.
It is. It's life. And it's like, that's the dedication to it. But I mean, this guy, he ended up getting knocked out, I think, in the probably 18th minute. And
Wow.
but he went in, scrum, goes in, and it two heads, boosh, and you just watch him go flat, and he just hits the ground like 3 feet off the ground, went straight as a board, stiff, poof, and hit the ground. And they're like, "Oh, well, that's probably a concussion." And it's like, you think that's probably a concussion? A guy that has an ace bandage on his head, holding his fractured skull together, potentially could have a concussion. I don't know, maybe.
Wow.
But anyway, yeah. So I loved being over there.
Okay, so
They lost, though. It was like, I think it was like 4-2 or 3-4, something like that. But
so both of you being much big sports balls fans, then
Sports balls.
than I am.
Yeah. I also like the sports pucks.
yeah, you're
I'm a huge hockey fan. Yeah.
Pucks and balls.
Yeah.
Who do you want? Do you want what name do you want for the hockey league?
It's
Yetis.
No, Yetis is out. They already said.
Oh, is that out?
Yeah,
Venom.
there's copyright infringement, so they can't use it.
Oh, right.
Yeti Cooler Company won't give them.
Really?
Are you kidding?
So that one's out. So they added in a couple more, and they voted on it. Now it's kind of up to them. So whatever they do, I'll be good with. I mean, I'll still buy the hat.
Right, yeah.
Now, I think the leader last poll I saw was the Outlaws, kind of based on the Old West, because we had so many Outlaws here.
True.
Are they voting on that right now?
They already did.
They did.
Yeah, the public voted, narrowed it to 4, and then the
One of them got
owners
kicked
and
out
everybody
'cause-
will decide off those 4 which one they want to do. And they got
Gotcha.
there's marketing and all that.
How can a cooler company turn around and say, "Nah, we're not going to give you the rights to the name"? Eat dick. It's a hockey club. You're a cooler company. Oh, because
I don't know,
they
they
play
just-
on ice.
That's just what
your thing.
That's what I read. But you
Is it
think
because
they'd want
we're
to
from
tie?
Utah?
You think they'd
You
want to tie into it?
bastards.
They tie into it. It'd be a wonderful thing if they tied into it.
Oh,
They don't
yeah.
want- they
Could
don't
you
want to
imagine?
tie into polygamy, like the
Yeah.
tie-in to that? is
No, just the name
difficult.
itself.
Just
The
the name
Yeti
itself,
coolers,
yeah.
like the
Shit, they
cups
could-
and mugs. It's like, hey, win prizes from Yeti, the Yetis, and they could have this whole thing. But they didn't want to do it.
Get your full.
That needs to be-
a variety of Yeti coolers.
Whoever is the marketing director there should have been kicked.
Yeah, because Jesus, you could sell a dozen
It's
at a time. Sorry,
I'm just happy there's a pro hockey team here.
Yeah.
So-
I
My
agree.
my cousin lives in Denver, so she's a diehard Avalanche fan, and so she's like, when they play, we're going to be coming out. I was like,
oh,
yeah.
great.
So like, you better.
I went to
I haven't been to a game yet.
I've been to one. A friend of mine had season tickets and called me, and they were playing the Wild, Minnesota Wild, which is
Oh yeah.
the team I used to follow and still do.
Are they the Maverick Center?
No, they're
no, it's at
they're at the
Delta.
Delta Center.
Oh,
with the
It's
Jazz.
legit.
Oh.
They're trying to create their own rink now, right?
Well,
Or
I
they're-
see what
They're going to remodel the Delta Center to be more. The seating's really weird for hockey the way it is now for basketball. So you get a lot of blind spots in certain seats. So
Interesting.
Right.
they're going to rather than build a whole new arena for billions of dollars, they're just going to remodel that to make it work for both.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I see what they're doing on 106 to the Southtown Mall.
Yeah, that's their practice facility.
Yeah, that they've built on so much.
Yeah.
Holy crap. And they've dug, I think that's where ZCMI was. I don't know, but they've dug that down, I think 2 additional floors. down.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. But I'm just glad
huge.
professional hockey's here. It's cool. The one game I went to, I had a blast. Played against their team. I got a chance to see it. Went overtime. It went into a shootout, which I've never seen in the pros. So that was cool.
Oh,
so
nice.
Yeah. So
I just wish I was Canadian.
right.
I'm just kidding.
I was this close to being Canadian.
Really?
'Cause I was born in Tucson, but I was premature by 2 months, and my dad had already accepted a job in Canada, in Quebec.
Oh, dang.
So literally, I was born in Tucson. If I'd have been on time, I would have had dual citizenship. I would have been born in Quebec.
As far as I
Missed it by that much.
as far as I have heard,
And you're like, damn it. Just think all these years where I could have been right now.
Right?
I was
could have been in
4
Canada.
four days away from being born in Italy.
Oh wow!
And our family we're Italian.
Yeah.
So that would have been awesome.
Hell yeah!
I don't know.
Coletti. My mother's maiden name is Morelli, so it's like close enough. Morelli, Coletti, hello,
Coletti. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that would have been cool. I wish I could have
That would have been really cool.
Hey,
I tried to get my daughter dual citizenship in Mexico, but that didn't work out. American consulate was a bastard.
Okay, so how far back do you go to Italy? Like, who lives in Italy?
Oh, it goes back generation.
No. I mean, who's the closest to you right now from Italy?
I literally.
Do you have a grandfather?
No, all dead. Yeah, sadly.
But were they born in Italy? If anybody was born in Italy as grandfather,
it was his dad. It was his.
You can get dual citizenship for Italy.
Really?
Yep, I'm getting. Yeah, I'm getting it.
It was his dad and his mom. They were both. Yeah.
Yep.
No.
You can get dual citizenship through the Italian consulate.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
because my great grandparents and my grandfather, well, his siblings, no, none of the siblings, but it was my great grandparents. So I'm the last generation that can get it.
That's so crazy. So let me ask you this. Hypothetically, let's say that I actually really do like apply and get dual citizenship here in the United States.
Yeah.
As
easier to travel through Europe, thousandfold.
Oh my God. Right. Okay. But so if I am still residing and living in the United States, can I, through the Italian consulate here in the United States, actually get an Italian passport?
Yes. Yeah, that's the dual citizenship. You get the passport. You get the Italian passport with
while I'm living here.
Yeah.
Oh,
you got to look into that.
Hell yeah. Great idea. This is excellent.
Yeah. So for all of you Italian immigrants out there listening, if your great grandparents.
By the way,
if you wanted to know anything more about well, let's do this. We've been talking for a good minute. We got into sports. We're talking about all that. But let's play some of your music. Now, let me tell you what I pulled up. One from each. Menace to Sobriety, I can speak. A Long Way from Graceland, because we were talking about that. Dust and Bones, American Twang, and Rehab. So I have those 5 albums.
Oh, those 5. Yeah, do you just want to play something off of?
I've got the title name to the song Menace to Sobriety, because we were talking about Jonni Lightfoot on that. A Long Way from Graceland, because we were talking about your dreams, so I thought I'd play that.
Yeah. Let's.
And what kind of drugs did you do with Elvis, by the way?
Oh, hell. You have to be there. I can't.
Yeah,
it's a location thing.
Yeah. I do like writing like escapism kind of songs. There's one that everybody loves on Menace to Sobriety called Suck a Lime. And it's just basically about...
I'll throw that in there.
Yeah, it's a very beachy island song. It was during COVID and you wanted to escape to a beach, start drinking tequila on a beach, but you can't literally leave.
Jimmy Buffett style?
Yeah, it's very similar to that. More of a Zac Brown band kind of vibe was kind of what I had in mind when I wrote it.
Awesome.
But yeah, it's a fun song and people really dig that one. And it's about sitting on a beach drinking tequila.
I love that.
Nothing smart about it. It's just escapism.
Well, seriously.
Again, man,
what life should be.
Yeah, exactly.
And the thing is you're writing, again, I keep going back to this, that you put such an amazing twist to your lyrics that you think it's going to go one way and then you just throw a little curveball and you're like, I see where you go with that. And I love it, man. Yeah. It's an art.
Well, you could throw Menace to Sobriety since we talked about Johnny. And
yeah, I was going to.
You can hear that amazing bass line.
And then also, and that's on Menace to Sobriety, the Twist of Lime.
Suck a lime.
Suck a lime, twist a lime, reach around. Suck a twist a lime.
Suck a dick.
Squeeze my lime. Squeeze my lime.
Squeeze your lime and reach around.
Spank the round. Reach the... I don't know what's going on here.
I don't know. I'm lost.
Honestly, it feels like I'm living in a Picasso or a Salvador Dali painting.
Right.
Did I tell you that? He brings that to the table.
Right.
He's like,
thank you, Stephen.
I just play country.
And if anybody's
Salvador Dali country, this is wonderful. I want to hear.
I know.
More.
Well, I do end up getting
Let's play this shit.
Yeah, for Menace to Sobriety, there's a good plug for Del Taco in there that I threw in. So.
All right, well, Del Taco, if you're listening to this.
For anti-sobriety, here we go.
Well, and the thing is that you know that most of your customers are after 10 p.m. and they're baked.
After every gig, that's where I'd go. I'm starving. I mean, it's 2 a.m. I'm starving. I'm exhausted from playing for 3 hours. I'm hitting Del Taco on the way home. So I had to throw that in there because when you're drunk, go to Del Taco, man.
Hey, Johnny Cat, isn't that literally our entire listening base?
Right.
Morning, noon, and night. They wake up to it as like that too. They wake up and they're like, Del Taco tastes really good right now.
I know.
I could do a burrito. That reminds me of a lot of your songs, sir.
Right? I know.
Excellent. Even better.
All right.
I'm excited.
So let's go ahead and do this. We're going to play Menace to Sobriety with the same title song, A Long Way to Graceland. So we're going to play 2 songs.
Perfect.
And then we'll be back. We're going to take our own
little break.
Menace.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to take our own little sobriety reach around. All right.
1, 2, check.
Okay. Here we go.
Johnny C. and Utah Music Radio.
You're listening to UM Radio.